The township residents are paying for her fund.
I think you should pay everybody. Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got
Well, here we go, diving right into the drama swirling around Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, a name that's been all over the news lately for all the wrong reasons. If you thought local politics couldn't get juicy, think again. This mayor isn't just under fire. She's practically in a full-blown scandal, and the allegations are piling up like crazy. We're talking about accusations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and serious abuse of power. And just when you thought things couldn't get more intense, her boyfriend stepped up and took the stand against her, throwing some serious accusations her way. If this sounds like the plot of a political thriller, well, that's because it pretty much is.
Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
So let's get into it. Tiffany Henyard took office as Dalton's mayor in 2021, breaking some barriers as the first woman to lead this small suburban town. But since then, her time in office has been anything but smooth. Over the past few months, Henyard has faced a mountain of accusations, each one more shocking than the last. And now, with her boyfriend testifying against her, the drama has hit a new level. The courtroom scene was tense, to say the least. He accused her of diverting funds from the village for her own lavish expenses, which is exactly the kind of stuff that drives people crazy. Who wouldn't be outraged to hear that their mayor might be living large on their hard-earned tax money?
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Let's talk about what exactly is on the list of accusations here. Henyard's critics claim that she's been playing fast and loose with her mayoral powers. According to them, she's made illegal appointments to key positions in the village without even bothering to get the village board's approval. So that includes a police chief and a village attorney, both of whom were blocked by a judge because Henyard allegedly skipped the necessary steps. It's like she's running a one-woman show over there, but the law is catching up with her. And when you hear about the other accusations, it starts to paint a picture of someone who just can't stop pulling strings for her own benefit. Allegedly, she's been handing out contracts left and right to people she has connections with. They say she's taking bribes and engaging in unethical practices to keep her allies in her corner and her enemies out of the loop.
You know, wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
Now, here's where the boyfriend's testimony throws gasoline on the fire. He claimed that Henyard used municipal funds for things that definitely aren't village business. He testified that she's been indulging in luxury expenses that should have been far from the top of her priority list. Think about it, taxpayer money being spent on high-end dinners, pricey entertainment, and even personal travel. And if that wasn't enough, he also dropped the bombshell that she's been involved in bribery schemes with local businesses. According to him, she's been accepting gifts in exchange for political favors. If that's true, it's a textbook case of corruption.
They knew what they were doing, and they thought they can get away with it.
The atmosphere in the courtroom was something else. Henyard reportedly had a meltdown right there as her boyfriend laid out the allegations, practically accusing her of caring more about her bank account than the town she's supposed to be leading. Witnesses said she was visibly shaken, which only added fuel to the fire of public speculation. Some people saw her reaction as a sign of guilt, while others think she was just frustrated at being painted into a corner. Either way, it wasn't a good look, and it only added to the growing suspicion among her constituents.
But it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big bingo.
And boy, has the public reacted. Dalton residents are furious. There have been protests, social media outrage, and calls for her resignation are growing louder by the day. People are starting to connect the dots between Henyard's alleged misuse of power and the financial mess that Dalton's in right now. According to reports, Dalton's general fund has a deficit of over 3.5 million currency units. For a small town, that's a massive hit, and it's easy to see why people are blaming her for the mess. Many feel that if she wasn't living large and throwing taxpayer money around, maybe Dalton wouldn't be in such dire financial straits.
So that's one of the reasons I vote no when we go through our board packets. It's like, you know, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer.
Let's not forget the recent revelation that former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been hired to investigate Henyard. Lightfoot has already uncovered some pretty wild spending habits. For instance, Henyard allegedly spent 40,000 units in one day on Amazon purchases. Yep, you heard that right. What could you possibly need from Amazon that costs 40,000? That's one of the many questions people are asking. Lightfoot's investigation found that Henyard has also been spending heaps on overtime for certain officers in the Dalton department. One officer reportedly made over 100,000 units in overtime alone last year, which is way more than their base salary. For a small town, that kind of spending doesn't just raise eyebrows, it raises major concerns about where the priorities are.
Who would make a one day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
Then there's the FBI investigation. That's right, the feds are involved, and they're not exactly known for investigating small matters. The FBI has been sniffing around Dalton Village Hall, although they're staying tight-lipped about exactly who or what they're investigating. Rumor has it, though, that they're looking into Henyard's finances and potential misuse of federal funds. And if that turns out to be the case, we could be talking about consequences that go far beyond a slap on the wrist. This could lead to criminal charges and even jail time if things don't go her way.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
Henyard, of course, isn't going down without a fight. She's fired back, claiming that this whole mess is nothing more than a smear campaign orchestrated by her political enemies. So according to her, the timing of these allegations is just too convenient, coming right before an election. She's framed herself as a victim of vicious political backstabbing, insisting that she's only trying to do what's best for Dalton. So let's be real, her story isn't exactly convincing everyone. With so many accusations and so much evidence against her, even her supporters are starting to wonder if there might be some truth to the claims.
Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
To make matters worse, Henyard's attempt to control the narrative hasn't gone smoothly. She's had multiple public confrontations with the Dalton Board of Trustees, which only adds to the drama. There have been reports of her vetoing decisions made by the board and even ignoring court orders. In one particularly shocking incident, she reportedly tried to push through her appointees, despite a judge's ruling that she didn't have the authority to do so. It's almost as if she's daring the legal system to hold her accountable.
Clickbait, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all stop it.
And it's not just local residents who are outraged. People on social media are having a field day with this scandal. Comments are flooding in from all over, with many calling for her resignation. One user summed up the public sentiment perfectly, saying, "She is as crook as they come. Her crimes are obvious and traceable. She needs to go to jail." Others are puzzled as to why she hasn't taken the money and run. One comment read, "Why hasn't she run with the money and left everyone behind? Stupid, even when caught." It's clear that people are fed up and they want to see justice served.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
So where does this leave Dalton? The town's political stability is hanging by a thread, and residents are worried about what this means for their future. The financial situation is bad. Enough, but with Henyard at the center of a storm of controversy, there's a real risk that Dalton could face even bigger problems if leadership doesn't change. So there's even talk that Henyard's legal woes could lead to Isola's leadership crisis, which might force Dalton into a period of economic uncertainty. It's one thing to have a mayor under fire, but it's another when the entire town is affected by her actions.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
At this point, everyone is waiting to see how this scandal unfolds. The investigations are still ongoing, and with each new development, it seems like more and more dirt is being uncovered. So it's hard to imagine how Henyard could come back from this, but stranger things have happened in politics. Too, could she survive the scandal and somehow hold onto her position? Or is this the end of the road for Dalton's super mayor? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, people will be watching every move she makes from here on out.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
As the pressure builds, Henyard's responses have become increasingly defensive. At one point, she lashed out at reporters, accusing them of being part of the smear campaign against her. She's even gone as far as to suggest that the media is out to get her, claiming that they only focus on the negative and never cover the good things she's done for Dalton. But if she was hoping to gain some sympathy, it doesn't seem to be working. Public opinion appears to be firmly against her, with more people calling for her resignation with each passing day. One of the biggest questions on everyone's mind is whether the FBI investigation will lead to federal charges. If it does, that could spell the end for Henyard's political career, not to mention her personal freedom. At this point, even if she manages to avoid jail time, the damage to her reputation might be irreversible. And with Lori Lightfoot's investigation uncovering more questionable spending, it's likely that this scandal will continue to grow. So the financial discrepancies alone are enough to raise serious concerns. But when you add in the potential for bribery and misuse of funds, it paints a picture of a mayor who may have seriously abused her power.
Clickbait, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all stop it.
So what does the future hold for Tiffany Henyard? Will she be able to clear her name and continue as Dalton's mayor? Or is this the beginning of the end for her political career? And more importantly, how will Dalton recover from the fallout of this scandal? With so much at stake, it's anyone's guess how this will play out, but one thing's for sure, Dalton residents aren't going to forget this anytime soon. Let's hear your thoughts. Do you think Henyard deserves another chance? Or is it time for Dalton to find new leadership? Drop your comments below, and let's get this discussion going.